morning, dear friends. In our earlier discussion, we learned what is an agriculture income, how the agriculture income has been defined. We just learned that the agriculture income has been defined under three parts. What are the agriculture activities and what is the test which any activity has to pass through so as it may be deemed to be an agriculture activity? Because the income from agriculture is exempted under subsection 1 of section 10. Now, today we'll try to learn the treatment of composite activities of business and agriculture. It is possible that an SSC may be having a business which may involve both agriculture activities as well as activities which would be comprised under business and profession. What would be the treatment of income which has been earned from the composite activities of agriculture and business? For example, an SSC is engaged in the business of growing, say, mango trees. It means he is earning the income from the mangoes, as well as he may perhaps be using these mangoes for the manufacture of pickles. If this particular SSC, for example, doesn't sell the mangoes, rather he just uses all his mangoes for the manufacture of the mango pickle, then it means this particular activity will be having agriculture activities as well as the activity of business and profession. Similarly, if a farmer is growing tomatoes in his farmhouse and he is just using his tomatoes for the purpose of manufacturing the tomato ketchup, and he is just earning the income out of tomato ketchup, so he will be deemed to have the composite activity of business and agriculture. How would we bifurcate between the agriculture income and the business income? Under such circumstances, as you will also appreciate that there is a necessity to bifurcate between your agriculture income and non-agriculture income. For the purpose of calculating the business income, SSC is required to make the deduction in respect of the fair market value of the agricultural produce which has been raised by him in his farmhouse, or the fair market value of this particular produce which has been received by him as a rent. It should be deducted from the total business income so that we can arrive at the agriculture income, because the agriculture income is a non-taxable, it is not taxable, whereas the income from business, it is subject to tax. That's why a clear bifurcation between agriculture income and non-agriculture income is required to be made. I think that would be quite clear. Now we'll also just try to learn the different, we'll just try to learn how to make the distinction between agriculture income and non-agriculture income by understanding one example. Just see, in this example, Mr. A is a farmer and has been growing tomatoes in his agriculture land in Haryana. He is also in the business of manufacturing tomatoes ketchup by using his own produce of tomatoes. Now what he is doing, he is a farmer who is just owning a land, agriculture land in Haryana. What he is doing, he is just, first of all, he is manufacturing, he is growing tomatoes. Number two, he is just using those tomatoes, using them for manufacturing of tomato ketchup. It means he is earning the income from tomato ketchup. So his total income which he is earning by virtue of tomato ketchup, it consists of both the agriculture income on account of the tomatoes and the manufacturing and the business income which is earning on account of manufacturing of tomato ketchup. So this is a case of composite income. So in this case we need to make a bifurcation between the tomato income, his agriculture income, and his business income. So, in this particular example, say during the previous year he sold tomato ketchup for a total value of rupees 7 lakhs, and the fair market value of the tomatoes grown by him has been 3.5 lakhs. It means the market value of tomato ketchup is, this is 7 lakhs, market value is 7 lakhs. And the fair market value of the tomatoes grown by him has been 3.5 lakhs. The manufacturing means the fair market value of tomatoes is 3.5 lakhs. So this 3.5 lakhs that would be reduced from his total sale price of ketchup. It means the value would be 3.5 lakhs. But this 3.5 lakhs is a gross receipt. From this 3.5 lakhs, we will have to reduce the manufacturing expenses to the extent of 1.2 lakhs. So these are the manufacturing expenses which have been incurred by this particular person for the manufacturing of tomato ketchup. If I just reduce it, the manufacturing expenses, the resultant figure would be 2.3 lakhs. That would be the business income which would be charged with tax. However, the fair market value of the tomatoes was 3.5 lakhs, but for growing these tomatoes, he had to incur expenditure of 1.5 lakhs. It means his agriculture income, his net agriculture income would be, net agriculture income is equal to 3.5 minus 1.5 lakhs, which is 2 lakhs. So this way we can make a bifurcation between agriculture income and business income, because this agriculture income in this case 2 lakhs is totally exempt under the Income Tax Act 1961 under subsection 1 of section 10, whereas the business income will be subject to the tax under the head income from business and profession. So this is the way we can make a bifurcation between the agriculture income and the business income. Now let us see how the computation of income is made, where an assessee is deriving his income from growing and manufacturing of rubber in India, and this particular income, the treatment of income shall be covered under Rule 7A. What happens if an assessee is earning the income by selling the rubber which has been manufactured by him from the rubber plants which have been grown by him? Then such income also needs to be bifurcated between agriculture income and non-agriculture income. Non-agriculture income means that would be income from business and profession, that would be deemed to be income under business and profession. If that is so, in this case, for the purpose of this determination, the income would be, agriculture income would be 65% and non-agriculture income would be 35%. It means if a person is earning the income on account of sale of rubber which he has manufactured from the rubber plants which have been grown by him, for the purpose of determination of income, it will be deemed as if this income shall be 35% would be business income and 65% shall be deemed to be the agriculture income. For the purpose of ascertaining the income as a business income, the deduction would be made in respect of cost of planting the rubber plants. Means whatever cost has been incurred for planting the rubber plants, the deduction would be made. Number 2, the cost of planting the plants which have been planted as a replacement of those rubber plants which have become dead. It means both expenditure would be allowed to him. Number 1, the cost of planting the rubber plant. Number 2, the cost of planting the plants in replacement of those plants which have become dead or which have become useless. both these deductions will be made while computing his business income. But ultimately, the ratio would be 65% would be treated as the agriculture income and 35% would be treated as business income. So this is an example of composite income when the SSC is in the business of growing and manufacturing of rubber in India, because this is very important. In India, the things should have been grown and manufactured in India. Now the next is how the income is to be computed in the case of growing and manufacturing of coffee. What happens when the SSE is in the business of growing and manufacturing of coffee and he is just selling that coffee in the market? How the income can be bifurcated between your agriculture income and the business income. This activity has been divided into two parts. In the first part, he is just deriving the income by selling the coffee which has been grown and cured by him in India. If that is the case, then the income, the business income would be deemed to be 25% and 75% would be your agriculture income. This is the business income. And while computing the business income, the deductions would be made in respect of your cost of plants of coffee and the cost of plants of coffee for replacing the dead plants or the useless plants. The deduction in respect of cost of the plants is given in both the cases, whether this is a case or this is a case. So in the first case, where SSE is earning the income, is deriving the income from the coffee which has been grown and cured by him in India, the bifurcation would be between 25% being treated as a business income and 75% would be treated as an agricultural income. And in another case, if he is just deriving the income from the sale of coffee which has been grown, manufactured, cured, roasted or grounded by the seller in India, then 40% income would be treated as business income and 60% shall be your agriculture income. Because agriculture income would be exempt and 40% of income would be subject to tax under the head income from business and profession. I think that would be clear to you. Now we just try to learn what happens when a person, when an SSE is in the business of selling the tea. He is selling the tea out of the tea leaves which he is manufacturing. Here also the treatment is just like a treatment which we have given, which we have just seen in the case of the computation of income from growing and manufacturing of coffee in India. Here the bifurcation is between 40% would be treated as your business income and 60% would be the agriculture income. And while calculating the business income, the deduction would be allowed to be made in respect of the cost of planting the tea leaves, and number two, the cost of planting the tea leaves in replacement of dead tea leaves or useless tea leaves. So this is the way we can compute the composite income when the SSE is engaged in the business of selling the tea as well as he is processing the tea. Means he is just growing the tea in manufacturing and selling. So this is a case of composite activity. I think the things will be clear to you. Now, the concept of taxation of agricultural income. Now, what is that concept of taxation of agricultural income? Because at the very outset, I just told you that the agriculture income is exempted under the Income Tax Act 1961 under subsection 1 or section 10. So, where does the taxation of agriculture income? In fact, this is a case where we can say that there is a partial integration of agriculture income. You are absolutely right that the agriculture income is totally exempt under the Income Tax Act. But however, in respect of certain SSCs, where they are having both agriculture income as well as non-agriculture income, in such a case, the agriculture income is considered while calculating the tax liability of those SSCs in respect of their non-agriculture income, and that particular concept is called partial integration of agriculture income. So you can say, for the purpose of determining the rate of tax in respect of their non-agriculture income, their agriculture income is considered. So that particular concept is applicable only in respect of certain category of assesses. What are those category of assesses? These are the category of assesses. The partial integration is done in the case of following assesses. What are those? Individuals, HUF, Hindu Undivided Families, Association of Persons, oblique body of individuals. The fourth category is artificial juridical persons. So in respect of those assesses, the partial integration is done. However, that is not done in the case of firms. If a firm is engaged in the activity which will consist of both agriculture and non-agriculture income, then that integration will not be done. Firms, companies, local authorities or cooperative societies, in respect of those assesses, there is no integration of agriculture income. I think the concept will be quite clear to you. Thank you very much.